So overall, part 3 of the presentation is talking about the skills that teachers and facilities have to learn. And the overall arching would be the 21st century learning methodologies and technology. They'll be provided with some funding for that, but one of our overarching umbrellas for what we want to train our educators in is based on the 4 E's. Based on presentations made by the Curriculum and Instruction in the spring of 2016, the concept of the 4 E's have been reduced to the following set of questions all instructional community members of the Columbus City Schools should ask themselves regarding their daily activities. Does the student's experience I plan to use today meet these requirements? Meet the teacher and student expectations for learning, engage students, include clear explanations of intended learning and measurement criteria, and create environments supporting the culture of the climate. So let's get really specific. We're going to talk about scoping, planning, and prepping and what that entails. Now, I spoke earlier about the 4 obstacles that were identified earlier. And those 4 obstacles that we identified, we want to break them down each specifically. Excuse me. Inequitable access was our first obstacle or hindrance identified learning problem that we want to tackle. And within each one of those, we have a timeline in our 3-year plan to tackle all of those. So let's speak about that first. Activity 1, so we've created several activities that we've selected that may help us find a solution to our problems. As I go through the timelines of each activity to give the solutions to the learning problems that or hindrances or obstacles that we are facing, some of these we've already started for this year, and I'll be speaking to them as if they have not been started as of yet, but this first activities for inequitable access does have a timeline that has already been started. Activity 1, we're going to select 20 teachers and their respective principals. We've selected 20 teachers and their respective principals to create digital learning environments in their respective teacher classrooms based on the Columbus City School vision of learning as defined within this plan. Orientation would start within training of the 4 E's that we just spoke about and their impact on instructional activities. The initiative would start with 10 teachers, which we started in the fall of 2016, and provided them with devices, technology, furniture, professional development, and digital content as noted in the goals. During the acquisition of all of these items required by the teachers, any hindrances caused by purchasing was identified and addressed as needed to maximize the future acquisitions related to this initiative when we did it in December 16. The curriculum instruction reviewed the processes with those 10 teachers and principals, focusing on the issues surrounding goals 2 through 5. That feedback was utilized in training the second group of the 10 teachers and principals in January 2017. And then in January 2017, the second group of 10 teachers was oriented to the 4 E's, provided devices, technology, furniture, professional development, and digital content as noted by the goals. We are in May of 2017, and the curriculum and instruction are going to be reviewing the process with all 20 teachers and principals, focusing on the issues surrounding goals 2 through 5. That feedback will then be utilized in the training of the third group of teachers beginning in the fall of 2017. Timeline for 2016-2017 school year responsibility, or the timeline was 2016-2017. The school year, the responsibility is in the curriculum and instruction, and the estimated cost was $500,000. Activity 2 selected an additional 40 teachers and their prospective principals to create digital learning environments in the respective teacher classrooms based on the Columbus City School vision of learning as defined within this plan. orientation would start with the training of the 4 E's and their impact on instructional activities. The 2017-2018 initiative would start with the 20 teachers in the fall of 2017 providing the devices, the technology, furniture, professional development, digital content, and the goals. Throughout that, we have a timeline of 2017 and 2018 school year and ongoing annually, and the responsibility falls on the curriculum and instruction, and that estimated cost is $1 million. The third activity is aligned to the 21st Century Classroom Initiative with Strategy 2, initializing district acquisition of computing devices. With this acquisition of student and teacher computing devices as part of Strategy 2, this initiative for purchasing the remainder of the items to create digital environments in the classroom can expand to 60 teachers annually. So the process established for the review in prior years should be continued for year 3. The timeline is 2018-2019 school year. The responsibility is the curriculum instruction, and the estimated cost for that is $1 million. The next hindrance we found, or obstacle that we wanted to talk about, is providing embedded professional development. School districts who have successfully transitioned to digital learning environment find that the most effective professional development delivery method is job-embedded professional development. An experienced teacher teach the teacher, train the trainer. An experienced teacher and a learning and teaching coach moves to a specific teacher's classroom to assist with the learning and new instructional delivery model. Those districts have found that a ratio of 1 learning and teaching coach for every 100 teachers provided is a sufficient amount of job-embedded support to change the classroom culture of learning. So the goals of that would be to align the goals of providing 1 learning and teaching coach for every 100 teachers, a total of 35 learning and teaching coaches by the time that the districts have reached the 2-to-1 student to computing device ratio. If you go through the readings of this, the strategy 1 is defining competency of learning and teaching coach activity. Learning and teaching coach, the activity is to utilize the 4 E's in the 21st Century Classroom Initiative to define appropriate competencies and proficiencies a learning and teaching coach should exhibit. Use the feedback from 2016, 2017, 2017, 2018 to refine those requirements. That timeline is 2016 to 2018. The responsibility falls on the Curriculum Instruction Department. There is 0 cost to that. There is a second activity which would have a spring timeline of 2018 and a curriculum instruction in the HR department and the CEA department, and the estimated cost is 0. Strategy 2 is providing learning and teaching coaches. The activity would utilize a strategy of repurposing or reorienting an existing position, instructional coaches, content specialists, etc., to a learning and teaching coach whose primary function is a direct support of the 2016-2017 teachers and principals selected for the 21st century classroom. The timeline is 2016-2017, and the responsibility falls on the executive team. The curriculum instruction and the estimated cost is based on the existing personnel funding source. Activity 2 is to utilize a strategy of repurposing or reorienting an existing position with the content area coaches and specialists. The timeline is 2017-2018. The executive team falls on the responsibility and the curriculum instruction. Estimated cost is according to the personnel funding. The other is revising and repurposing existing professional development policies and processes. The goal is to revise professional development practices to support teacher and principals gaining competencies in the 21st century learning methodologies and equal proficiency in the use of technology. So we really want to develop a professional development scope and sequence matrix and articulate vision. So with using, of course, the 4 E's in the 21st Century Learning Initiative to identify and articulate the range of competencies teachers should have associated with the 21st century learning methodologies and technologically proficiencies teachers should have to provide student-centered learning. This scope and sequence matrix should also be reconciled to the Ohio Department of Education, OTES and OPES. The timeline is January 2017 through May 2018. The responsibility falls on the curriculum and instruction. The estimated cost is none. I'm going to move through this quickly. The activity 2 is using the 4 E's to articulate the link between student learning and professional learning. There is a timeline of January 2017 and 2018 following the responsibility on the curriculum instruction department. There is no estimated cost for that. We also could decide to provide an electronic portal of self-directed PD modules with mastery benchmarks. We could revise professional development options. To untether the teaching computing devices, we want to define an untethered teaching computing device, utilize the first 2 years of the 21st Century Learning Initiative and its findings to define what it means to have an untethered teaching computing device, enable those teachers and principals to experiment with what it means to untether the teaching computing device. This should not result in a one-size-fits-all solution. It should be represented by a range of solutions, starting in September 2016, going through May of 2018. And then also just replacing teacher computing devices, starting 2018, 2019, going on annually. The executive team, the Board of Education, the estimated cost would have to go through and see the equity of access, strategy number 2, funding source. Prepping for implementation. So we want to communicate and promote the K-12 technology roadmap. It is important for Columbus City Schools to communicate with their employees and constituents regarding the breadth and scope of this K-12 technology roadmap and how it is expected to impact student achievement. Our goal is to create a communication plan and promotion of this plan. If you see below, the blue is representative of when it will be fully implemented. The light blue is representative of pilot or partial function. Yellow is representative of the training. The mustard orange is the acquisition, and the green is the research and planning. And throughout this graph, we have all of the activities that we plan on doing, and which in each year we have broken them down into quarters, and how we expect to have them planned out would be shown in this summary graph and color coded. As you can see, 21st century classroom cohort 1 with the 20 classrooms has already been started in quarter 3 and quarter 1 with the full implementation. And as you go through each of these, you can see, and we've also compartmentalize them through high impact, medium impact, and low impact. So as you go through that, you'll see what our plan of timeline is and how we plan to communicate that. That also is the same source that we would like to use for the district rollout plan. Align the rollout of the district-wide focus on digital content and tools with the district acquisition of student and teacher computing devices. And we have the timeline annually starting 2018-2019 school year. The responsibility would fall on the Board of Education, the executive team, the curriculum instruction, and purchasing. Estimated cost is $3,500,000 annually starting in the year of 2018-2019 school year. And the funding resource is to reallocate textbook funds is how we like to fund that. Teachers are those campuses slated to receive sufficient devices to reach a 2-to-1 ratio. Will focus on professional development in August of 2018. Finally, practice and evaluating. We want to have an ongoing day-to-day work of teaching and learning with mobile devices. Setting up and supporting professional learning communities, showcasing effective teaching and coaching modules, reflection of pedagogical considerations, developing and refining new assessment practices. how we want to evaluate and adjusting using the same full implementation map. And we also